Howdy, folks, and hey, welcome to the show this week again. It's been a little while, about a week and a half or something. We're trying to get some videos out, and it just seems like it's just impossible because of a lot of other things going on in the background, I guess you could say, of mostly involving the house and paperwork. Yesterday, I spent the whole day with paperwork. Just chasing things. Also had to go over and meet with the county to see where the title for my 68 Camaro is sitting behind this door, which needs to come in here. Went yard sale hopping, always do, every weekend pretty much anyways, do a little bit of yard sale hopping, and sometimes I find a few things and I pick them up. This was kind of a cool item. I like this item because I had considered at one time either buying one or trying to build one myself, and I saw a lot of different kits online where people took plywood and screws and everything else, and all thread and all that, and tried to make one of these things. And all this is it just takes your trim router and it raises it up or down to your router plate. So I'll just show you. There's the key for it, which is kind of cool, and you just turn this, and this will adjust your trim router up and down in the plate. And the plate, which did come with this kit. How much did I pay at the yard sale? $8. Okay. There was a couple problems. There is a couple of issues here that are going to be kind of. We'll see what may come of it, because I've got this, and I've got the washer here that sits in the center here for the trim router, and of course this assembly with the key. That's all we got. So in other words, we're missing some nuts and bolts. I'm also missing the little T-square thing that would slide across here, but I'll be honest with you, with any kind of router setup like that, I never use the T-square that would slide through on it anyways. It's something like you always sort of run the wood by hand through, and hopefully you have a bearing on the trim router on the cutter so that you can't over push or something like that. So if you don't have that bearing and you're using a specific type of router, bit or something, you may need something like that to lock it. But I guess I could 3D print something, I could, easily 3D print a piece to go through here that would be my little, T-square, whatever that goes through that. But not a big deal. For $8, it was a good buy. It was like, you know what, I'll grab this. I try to buy things that are complete, but when you come to yard sales, they've always lost something with the kit or something, and this is just normal. But I thought I'd show that to you because it was $8. It was like, you know what? I'll take it. I don't know how. I'll have to go find some screws to mount it. This part, there's some things that are going to be involved with, scavenging some pieces up to try to put this together as a kit. But I thought it was cool. I have yet to see a tape measure at a yard sale for sale, but maybe one of these days we'll find one. The other item I got, it's kind of bulky, so we'll have to take a quick walk over, just sort of take a look at it. It is, let's go backwards a little bit. It's a 68 Camaro behind the door here. There's a 350 in it. Well, it might be a 327, it might be a 305. We don't even know what block is in there, but I'm pretty sure it's the 350, but we'll have to pull the engine out and put it on an engine stand. And that means, I'll tell you, every time I do this, it never fails. I sell my engine stand, and then within a few years, something shows up at the door in my shop, and I need an engine stand again. So I've already gotten rid of the last one I had. Now, the last one I had was a 3-wheel engine stand. And if anybody knows what I'm talking about, they are tipsy this way. And when you're working on a 350 engine, you do not want to drop that stupid thing. So this one had the 4 wheels, and it looked like it was in decent shape. It's missing one bolt. Always, actually missing 2. There's missing a pin, and it's missing one of the bolts that would be used for holding the 350 on the stand. But let's take a quick look at the stand. Here we are. This is the engine stand. Now, the one I had before this that I got rid of after I used it had only a single wheel up the front here, and it would fall over in a heartbeat. This one has the 4 wheels, so it's a little bit more stable. Now, this is still in regards to engine stands. This is a cheap one. It's rated for 1,000 pounds, so that's kind of good enough. We're not doing the 454 big block engines on here. We will have, I guess, a 350, and one of these mounting bolts here to suck the engine up onto the stand here, one of the bolts is missing, the whole assembly, the bolt, the nut, and the washer, whatever, is gone. And so he lowered the price and he made it $40, which was like, in some ways, some people might say, you know what, that's still high, but you know, it's got the 4 wheels, it's in good condition. It looks like he said he only used it one time for one engine, which, boy, can I relate. Every time I do an engine, I have to go buy an engine stand because I get rid of them after I'm done, thinking I will never need that tool ever again. Now, the engine hoist I have, which is a 4-ton lift, I have kept that since day one because I have used it for other jobs. Where an engine stand like this, again, it goes back to, you know, how often are you going to use this? Now, granted, you could take this apart, take the nuts and bolts out of it, and close this thing up so it doesn't take up a lot of space, and you can store it, I guess. But will I keep this one? Right now, I'm thinking probably not. You know, when I get done with the 350, who needs the stand? You know, but I'm wondering, maybe I should hang on to it because maybe there's another V8 engine laying around somewhere that needs to go on the stand again. You know, like, because I have had, I guess, 3 or 4 of these units in my lifetime now, and you know, you get rid of them. A couple years later, something shows up, and it's like, you mean I need an engine stand again? Like, oh no. The only other thing I would like, and I have never seen one, would be nice to have a great big some kind of metal tray that would go underneath the whole thing. And that way every drop of oil coming out of that motor would end up collected in a tray where you could contain it, you know, because what happens underneath these stands can be a real mess on the floor. And in fact, look at my floor. This is a new building, you know, with new concrete, polished and everything. So, yeah, I don't want to drop oil in here, but it's, you know what? It's going to happen. Oh, yeah, it's going to happen. But this was a good yard sale find, and it wasn't something on my list. It was on my list, like, you know, down the road, before we get into pulling that engine, we're going to have to get an engine stand. So when we get the engine out, we got a place to put it. And voila, this shows up at a yard sale. So that was a good buy. Yeah, we're talking about yard sales and handy dandy things that we can find at a yard sale. I do not have everything on the bench here for this particular topic, but putting this new shop up, I need to wire it up, and I'm going to be running 1/2-inch conduit and putting some outlets on the walls, and also we've got lighting, which is kind of, yeah, needs some work. We'll get back to the lighting, I guess, soon, but I've got some fixtures to put up. I have not put them up yet to increase the lighting here, and that way it'll be even brighter here than it is right now. So I am going to need wire, and I'll be pulling wire through conduit to wire up the building. If you've seen the copper wire prices these days, holy mac, you know, yeah, you go into Lowe's right now, and it's not only security locked. In some of the stores, one particular one I went to, I think it was a Home Depot maybe, the guy unlocked it, said what he wants, you know, that, pulled it out, and then said, I will walk with you to the cash register and you pay for it, and then I will hand you the wire. Wow. You know, and of course the price of the wire was a couple $100. Was like, oh man. And it wasn't a big piece of wire. So wiring, big problem. So anyway, went to a yard sale. Always do yard sales. And this was another find. This fella was an older gentleman. He was retiring, and he had wiring, and also had the green, which I don't have laying out here right now, but he had spools of wire. And he also had bagfuls of outlets, which, you know, yeah, you're going to need those. Even had some of the octagon boxes and stuff that you need for junctions, work, that sort of thing. Man, I'm surprised he didn't have conduit, because he had everything, seemed to have everything I needed. And again, are you sitting down? Okay. Price paid, wiring. This is it's either 500, yes, 500-foot spools, and he had the black, the white, and the green, plus the outlets I grabbed, the octagon boxes and fittings and whatever he had loose that I could carry. $10, yeah, because he wanted rid of the stuff, and I'm more than happy to take it home. I had to explain to the wife, it says, this is a really good deal. Yeah, for $10 for copper wire right now, I was like, oh man. And he had other wiring there that was a real shame. He had some Romex that he would have sold for a couple dollars, but it was like, I have no use for Romex. I have Romex in stock at the house in case I need to run a, circuit or something. But beyond that, the only other one I would need would be the 210 Romex wire, which I have here on the wall over here. But I could not, there was just nothing I could find that he had that I could use for like wiring up my shop. But for $10, I got, wow, all I got to do is buy some conduit and fittings and start slapping stuff up, and I can have outlets, throughout the shop. Now, I do want to run a dedicated line that'll be 220 or 240, and I need an inverter, which is going to cost a lot of money for that. So I will keep an eye out at yard sales, of course. But what are the chances of finding copper wire for 500-foot spools for $10 for everything and just carry it off? It's like, wow, yeah. He had a lot. He had tools. He had all kinds of stuff that I could use. But in fact, some of you won't know what that is, but this is the 1/2-inch Hickey, they call it, for bending 1/2-inch EMT conduit, which I will be doing in the shop here. So yeah, this was another, part of the deal at a yard sale for a couple dollars. And it was like, I already have the pipe and everything for my 3/4. So I don't have a 1/2-inch. That's the whole thing. I thought I did. And somewhere down the road years ago, that 1/2-inch Hickey went missing, or it was sold at a yard sale, which is very possible. I may have sold it off thinking I would never do conduit work again, which is like that crazy engine stand. I keep thinking, yeah, we're all done with that. We don't need it anymore. I've even bought a 3D printer at a yard sale, yes. Yeah, and we made good use of the 3D printer while we had it for a little bit, just mostly for backup. Anyway, I just wanted to update you guys on some of the crazy yard sales that I've been to lately in the area. They're not great, but there's few and far in between, and sometimes you hit something good, But my point, of course, is get out there, do a little yard sale hopping. If you need some tools or something, you might save a huge pile of money. Also, that big inverter, that 3,000 water, it does 240, but also does 110s. So it's actually a pretty good machine. Don't really care for the price too much, but the link will be down in the description below if you're interested in one. From Amazon, of course. Where else do you shop? Walmart? Nah. Anyway, thank you for watching Coffee and Tools. Please like, share, subscribe, and ring the notice bell. And 68 Camaro coming. Over and out.